Hey folks, hope you're all having a great day today. In this video I want to touch on all of the heating and cooling setups that I've used as well as what I'm currently using. But before I do that, it would make a lot of sense for me to at least inform everyone what my exact situation is as far as the shop itself and my climate. Hopefully that'll make it better. That will allow you to better compare to your situation to maybe determine what you do or do not need. So this particular shop is a 20.5 foot by 20.5 foot square. It's a 2-car garage with 10-foot ceilings. And all of the perimeter walls, except this wall behind me, do not have any insulation. And this wall, there's about 12 feet or so that is attached to my house. So that section does have insulation in it. The rest is uninsulated. The garage door is a regular 2-car garage door that did not come with insulation in it, but I did purchase a retrofit kit to add insulation to the garage door. Now that kit only covers half of the garage door because it's made for single-car garage doors, but 2 of those kits will handle a 2-car garage door just fine. The ceiling above is not insulated as well. There is a 45-degree gable roof above this, and it is not insulated one bit, not above the ceiling or in the rafters above that. I live in central Mississippi, which is known to have a high annual precipitation level, and Mississippi also has a relatively high average temperature for the rest of the United States. So if you combine those two, then it's like a recipe for very miserable outdoor weather for the majority of the year. In the summertime, it's nasty, humid, and hot, which the temperatures are generally 100 degrees or lower, 95 to 100 degrees in the middle of summertime. And in the wintertime, we have, generally speaking, the past 2 or 3 years, we've only had like 36 to 48 hours of continuous weather temperatures below freezing. So it does dip below freezing for our lows quite frequently, but we don't have sustained below freezing temperatures often at all. The summertime, ridiculously hot and humid. The cold in the wintertime isn't incredibly bad. So what have I used for previous heating? I've used 2 1500 watt electric radiant heaters, and they simply couldn't keep up with the space. I think a lot of that has to do with heat rising, and they're just radiant heaters. So there's no really good air circulation in the shop during those times to blow some of that heat back down. And because those weren't really keeping up, I added a what's it called? It's a small propane Mr. Heater brand 1-plaque 4,000 to 9,000 BTU indoor safe portable radiant heater. Now it runs off propane. I had the accessory hose to attach it to like a 20-gallon or 20-pound grill bottle, one of the larger bottles. It worked really well. It was a good instant heat. Combined with the 2 electric heaters, it heated this place really, really well. However, the efficiency at which it burned the propane wasn't as good as I had hoped for. It's rated as indoor safe, and it does have a low oxygen sensor shut off, but I really wouldn't trust it inside my home. It did make the garage stink, and that odor, that burning propane odor, migrated into the house. So as soon as that happened, it was kind of like shut it off and not use it again. But it was a very good source of instant heat. So maybe if I had a shop that wasn't attached to my house, it would be a little bit more allowable. But then again, I could smell it so bad that I really wouldn't. I'd probably use a different brand maybe, or something that was rated for permanent indoor use, mounted to the wall or something like that, if natural gas or propane is the option. But then taking into consideration carbon monoxide and having to vent fumes, if it's all that stuff to take into consideration. Anyway, that didn't really work out for me because of the fumes. For the first 1.5 years in this shop, I didn't do any type of cooling. All I did in the summertime was just added a fan here and there, moved it around to every station I was working on. And anybody who works outside in the Southeast United States or works in a garage environment that is exposed to the outdoor weather in the Southeast United States knows that the humidity and heat is just really miserable. So the second summer, I invested in an AC/heat pump unit, mini split unit for the shop. And it is a QuietSide brand, model number QS18 VJ220. It's an 18,000 BTU unit, and in the summertime, it cools flawlessly. I can keep this garage space at about 72 degrees without any problems, and what's more beneficial, in my opinion, than keeping it at 72 or 75 is the fact that it really pulls most of the humidity out of the air. So it makes it just really comfortable to work here in the winter or in the summertime. For the wintertime, like I said, we don't get crazy cold. This isn't a shop in, say, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan or Alaska or Minnesota or Canada. It's really not that cold of a climate, but the heat pump keeps up zero problems to about 20-25 degrees outside. Then it starts to struggle a little bit, but it'll still heat the shop above 50 degrees with no problems. So for the majority of my winter months in here, I have the heater set on 61 degrees, and that's the lowest temperature that it will go to. That's my biggest complaint with this particular unit. The heat will not go below 61. In the wintertime, I prefer to work with a long sleeve shirt or a very light jacket so that in the event that I get warm or get hot, I can always pull off a layer to cool off. Well, if I'm at 61 to begin with, then it's just a little bit too warm to work with a long sleeve jacket, so a long sleeve shirt maybe. But if it got down to say 55 or 50, if I could keep it at one of those two thermostat settings, I think it would be just absolutely perfect mini split unit. The outside unit for this mini split is very, very quiet, much quieter than the unit for my household heating and air. And the inside unit, it's currently running right now. Of course, I have a lavalier microphone on, so it's kind of hard to convey volumes of surrounding devices, but it's really, really quiet. This thing is, even on its fastest setting, I can be pretty much anywhere in the shop, and it's not going to screw up my audio any for these videos. So with that being said, just having it in a regular hobby shop or maybe a production shop or whatever, there's no volume issues that you ever have to worry about with this thing running. So the two questions that I get asked the most about this unit in my shop both relate to money. So number one, how much has it raised my electric bill? And then number two, how much did it cost to have it installed? My electric bill went up about $30 to $50 depending on what month of the year it is and how the temperature is outside. Those are the extremes in the dead of winter and then in the dead of summer, about that much. Now there's a lot of months throughout the year, well, a few months throughout the year in between seasons in fall and spring where this thing doesn't run much at all and you just leave it at whatever temperature it is. But while it's running in the most extreme months, heat or cold, $30 to $50. And if you think about it, this is my business, so anybody who has a business, a $30 to $50 electric bill is kind of appealing. So it's not that bad, not that big of a concern for me. And on top of that, I'm pretty comfortable with the settings. I don't really try to save electricity with it. My number one goal is to just be comfortable here in my shop. And then also, how much did it cost to have it installed? That is such a broad question and something that you can't really take a lot away from because number one, cost of labor throughout the United States is completely different whether you are in a highly residential area or whether you're outside city limits quite a bit. And then also cost of materials can vary as well. So I did not want to have anything. I wanted a warranty on materials as well as installation. So I had it completely paid for and had somebody else install it. So that includes all of the electricity, which is running a new disconnect line outside. So there is a hardwired disconnect outside, and then also doing all the electrical inside, hooking it up, the concrete pad outside, just everything, and it was $2,600. I've had quite a few quotes above $5,000 in my area, and I just stumbled upon this particular company that said $2,600 parts and labor, and I said let's do it. So that's that. Anyway, hopefully this has helped you out in some way. Maybe compare it to your particular situation, and hopefully you've got something from it. So thanks for watching. You guys take care and have a great day.